Good afternoon, Separino Beta with School of Light. And we are in chapter 6. I'm going to read 6 and 7. So let's go ahead and hop right to it. So when the ark of the Lord had been in Philistine territory 7 months, the Philistines called for the priest and the diviners and said, "What shall we do with the ark of the Lord? Tell us how we should send it back to its place." They answered, "If you return the ark of the God of Israel, do not send it away empty, but by all means send a guilt offering to him. Then you will be healed, and you will know why his hand has not been lifted from you." The Philistines asked, "What guilt offering should we send him?" They replied, 5 gold tumors and 5 gold rats, according to the number of the Philistine rulers, because the same plague has struck both you and your rulers. Make models of the tumors and of the rats that are destroying the country, and pay honor to Israel's God. Perhaps he will lift up his hand from you and your gods and your land. Why do you harden your hearts as the Egyptians and Pharaoh did? When he treated them harshly, did they not send the Israelites out so that they can go on their way? Now then, get a new cart ready with 2 cows that have calved and never been yoked. Hitch the cows to the cart, but take their calves away and pen them up. Take the ark of the Lord and put it in the cart, and in the chest beside it put the gold objects you are sending back to him as a guilt offering. Send it on its own way, but keep watching it. If it goes up to its own territory toward Beth Shemesh, then the Lord has brought this great disaster on us. But if it does not, then we will know that it was not his hand that struck us, and it happened to us by chance. Hey, it just happened by chance. Okay. They're, okay, let me just continue. So they said, they took 2 such cows and hitched them to the cart and penned up their calves. They proclaimed the ark of the Lord on the cart, and along with it the chest, containing the gold rats and the models of the tumors. Then the cows went straight up toward Beth Shemesh, keeping on the road and lowing all the way. They did not turn to the right or to the left. The rulers of the Philistines followed them as far as the borders of Beth Shemesh. Now the people of Beth Shemesh were harvesting their wheat in the valley. When they looked up and saw the ark, they rejoiced at the sight. The cart came into the field of Joshua of Beth Shemesh, and there it stopped beside a large rock. Joshua, that's verse 13. 14, correction. The people chopped up the wood of the cart and sacrificed the cows as a burnt offering to the Lord. The Levites took down the ark of the Lord together with the chest containing the gold objects and placed them on the large rock. On that day, the people of Beth Shemesh offered burnt offerings and made sacrifices to the Lord. The 5 rulers of the Philistines saw all this and then returned that same day to Ekron. These are the gold tumors the Philistines sent as a guilt offering to the Lord, 1 each for Ashdod, Gaza, Ashkelon, Gath, and Ekron. And the number of the gold rats was according to the number of the Philistine towns belonging to the 5 rulers, the fortified towns with their country villages. The large rock on which they set the ark of the Lord is a witness to this day in the field of Joshua of Beth Shemesh. But God struck down some of the men of Beth Shemesh, putting 70 of them to death because they had looked into the ark of the Lord. The people mourned because of the heavy blow the Lord had dealt them. And the men of Beth Shemesh asked, "Who can stand in the presence of the Lord, this holy God? To whom will the ark go up from here?" Then they sent messengers to the people of Kiriath Jearim, saying, "The Philistines have returned the ark of the Lord. Come down and take it up to your town." To your place. So the men of Kiriath Jearim came and took up the ark of the Lord. They took it to Abinadab's house on the hill and consecrated Eleazar, his son, to guard the ark of the Lord. That's the first verse in chapter 7. So we got verse 14 in the previous chapter. The first one here is really interesting to me. could you imagine being the guy who is consecrated to guard the ark of the Lord? I mean, I'm kind of, you know, torn between keeping this video short and fast and uploadable and just contemplating and meditating on the idea. Imagine if you were consecrated to be the guard, to guard the ark of the Lord. How would you feel? In fact, I'll probably just hit pause and meditate on that for a little bit. All right, so verse 1 of chapter 7, it says that Eleazar was consecrated to guard the ark of the Lord. So I meditated on that. And then I was reading past it after a while. And basically, it's like from that time forward, Samuel comes forward and says, leave the asterisk, leave all these things that we might be worshiping, that we're, instead of having a relationship with God, the whole purpose we're created, we are distracted by whatever it is. In this case, it was Astaroth, it was foreign gods, and he's asking them to return to the Lord with all of their hearts, and he will deliver them. And Samuel rules, and he's their leader, and there's like good relationship between the people and God again. And it's just so powerful. I believe it's like teaching me or saying to me, get consecrated so that you can be the guard of the ark of the Lord, so you can be someone who's, see, if you're the ark of the covenant, the ark of the God, of the Lord is his presence. And it says that the Spirit of God, or his presence, is between the cherubim on the outside of the ark, or maybe on the inside. But I know the cherubim on the outside. And so after that, you see a continued blessing, a repentance, not repentance so much, but more of a turning away from these other practices. And in America, English-speaking countries, you're not worshiping Astaroth, but maybe you're just not worshiping God. Maybe it's other things in your life that are distracting you where you don't have this relationship. And I can go on and on about examples. I have my own examples, personal ones. But let's go ahead and hop right back to chapter 7, verse 2. Well, at the very end of verse 1, they took it to Abinadab's house on the hill and consecrated Eleazar his son to guard the ark of the Lord. It was a long time, 20 years in all, that the ark remained in Kiriath Jearim, and all the people of Israel mourned and sought after the Lord. And Samuel said to the whole assembly of Israel, you are returning to the Lord with all your... He said, and Samuel said to the whole house of Israel, if you are returning to the Lord with all your hearts, then rid yourselves of the foreign gods and the Ashtaroths, and commit yourselves to the Lord and serve him only, and he will deliver you out of the hands of the Philistines. We don't have Philistines, but today you have things that control your spirit, things that control, they make you less of a person, things that might be oppressive to you, and you have to be close to God for your spirit to be strong. So the Israelites put away the Baals and the Ashtaroths and served the Lord only. Then Samuel said, assemble all of Israel at Mizpah, and I will intercede with the Lord for you. Then he had assembled at Mizpah. They drew water and poured it out before the Lord. On that day they fasted, and they confessed, we have sinned against the Lord. And Samuel was leader of Israel at Mizpah. When the Philistines heard that Israel had assembled at Mizpah, the rulers of the Philistines came up to attack them. And when the Israelites heard of it, they were afraid because of the Philistines. They said to Samuel, do not stop crying out to the Lord of the Lord our God for us, that he may rescue us from the hands of the Philistines. Then Samuel took a sucking lamb and offered it up as a whole burnt offering to the Lord. He cried out to the Lord on Israel's behalf, and the Lord answered him. While Samuel was sacrificing the burnt offering, the Philistines drew near to engage Israel in battle. But that day the Lord thundered with loud thunder against the Philistines and threw them into such a panic that they were routed before the Israelites. The men of Israel pushed out of Mizpah and pursued the Philistines, slaughtering them along the way to a point below Beth Kar. Then Samuel took a stone and set it up between Mizpah and Shen. He named it Ebenezer, saying, "Thus far has the Lord helped us." So the Philistines were subdued and did not invade Israelite territory again. Throughout Samuel's lifetime, the hand of the Lord was against the Philistines. The towns of Ekron to Gath, the, the Philistines had captured from Israel, were restored to her. And Israel delivered the neighboring territory from the power of the Philistines. So they delivered their neighbor. You know, if you get close to the Lord, you'll be able to rout your own enemies. That's what I'm feeling. But also because you have done that, you might even liberate your neighbors, your people in your household, or people that are actual neighbors or friends at work. It's so powerful. Thank you, God. So Israel delivered the neighboring territory from the power of the Philistines, and there was peace between Israel and the Amorites. Samuel continued as judge over Israel all the days of his life. From year to year, he went on a circuit from Bethel to Gilgal to Mizpah, judging Israel in all those places. But he always went back to Ramah, where his home was. And there he also judged Israel, and he built an altar there to the Lord. Wow. So remember, Samuel was the young man that Hannah thought she would never have. And whenever he was weaned, she took him to the temple for Eli to raise. The ark of Israel returned. So one of the ones I said was the ark came to the field of Joshua, but it stopped beside a large rock. There we go. So the cart came to the field of Joshua, of Beth Shemesh. And there it stopped beside a large rock. So Beth Shemesh, Joshua, is in English, it's usually, Yeshua. Or form close to that, right? And then Beth Shemesh. I wish I had a definition of the origin of that, but I'm kind of just going to put out what my thoughts are. Beth Shemesh might have something to do with like Shalom. No, I don't know if it has anything to do with peace. Beth Shemesh. I'm thinking it might have something to do with peace, or I don't know. And then it says that there's a big rock. Where Yeshua calls himself, you know, the rock. And then I noticed I wanted to write down was chapter 7, where he says that this guy was consecrated to guard. So this guy, you know, here's the ark. I'm going to say, bad ark. So here's the ark of the covenant. It was away from the people. It comes to this, back to a Israelite town, Karith Jaharim, and this guy named Eleazar was the guy who was going to guard the ark. So now here you have a man that's consecrated. He's closer to the ark, to the presence of God. And then it's right after that, verse 2, it talks about the history of Israel. Samuel, here's the people right here. We'll just say, you know, these represent lots of people right here. So these people that were separated from God because they were worshiping some idols, Samuel says, come back to God with all your heart. So they get close to God. And it's like this whole area close to God is a zone of blessing, peace, strength. It's like the difference between being planted in wonderful dark soil and being thrown in the Mojave Desert. I mean, it's everything. They even get so strong that the neighboring town is blessed from them, and they liberate these guys from oppressors. I mean, so exciting. And these are just 2 chapters in Samuel. I hope you guys got something from that. Have a good day. God bless. And if you have any questions or if you'd like to have a Bible study sent to you, let me know. We have a correspondence Bible study program. It doesn't cost you a penny. Just hit me up and I'll fill you in on the rest of the details. God bless.